Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us from around the world. Welcome to the virtual inaugural inauguration ceremony for our new board chair. My name is Josephine Sani. I'm Afrobarometer's Director of Communications, and I'm honored to moderate today's program. Today, we're celebrating exceptional leadership and legacy and the beginning of a new era in Afrobarometer's journey. Before we go on, I just want to remind you of a few housekeeping tips. The webinar is being recorded, and we're also streaming live on YouTube and sharing it across our social media channels. There is live interpretation in English and French. And so just click the interpretation button, which is the globe symbol at the bottom of your screen, and then select your preferred language. We're also sharing live updates on social media, so please join the conversation using the hashtag #VoicesAfrica or We Are Afrobarometer, and don't forget to tag us in your posts. So I would officially hand over to our CEO, Joseph Asunka, to give us his welcome remarks. Over to you, Joe.
Thank you so much, Josephine. And good afternoon, good morning to everyone. Welcome to this session. Thank you so much for making time to join us, sharing 1 hour of your time on a Friday afternoon or Friday morning with us. We're really grateful. So exactly 4 years ago, as many of you may recall, Professor Jima passed the Afrobarometer CEO torch to me. Today, we are gathered here again to witness another passing of the torch. As my colleague Josephine mentioned, this is another monumental occasion in the history of Afrobarometer. As you can imagine, Jima has been a torchbearer almost all his entire life, and he's passed a torch to me. He's preparing to pass a torch to our newly elected board chair. Professor Jima has been in many ways, a pace setter in the civil society space when it comes to civil society organization management, leadership, and transition. Of course, it's probably not uncommon to see that founders of civil society organizations or organizations in general relinquishing control of their institutions is not a very common thing, at least on the continent yet. But Jima has demonstrated both of these. First, leaving the CEO role of Afrobarometer, and also today, after just about 6 years as chair of the Afrobarometer board, handing it over to a newly elected chair, and hence giving up the governance of Afrobarometer entirely. This is, of course, it signals his commitment to term limits. The Afrobarometer governing board terms of reference that stipulate a 6-year term for board members, and his commitment to term limits. Of course, we've preached about term limits on the continent, a term that is not very palatable to several political leaders on the continent. But this is clearly a demonstration of living by what we preach, and I think Jima has demonstrated that clearly. Afrobarometer's 25-year story is nothing short of remarkable. With Professors Mattis and Bratton, Jima co-founded Afrobarometer in 1999, and this institution has evolved to become a leading think tank on the continent. I'm sure the 3 co-founders had their ambitions in 1999 as to how they envisage Afrobarometer to be, but I doubt that they all knew that this institution would become what it is today. And we're truly grateful to them, and especially to Professor Jima's leadership, both as the first CEO when Afrobarometer became an independent entity, but eventually becoming the board chair and getting ready to hand over that role today. As we look forward to welcoming the new leadership into Afrobarometer, of course, we do know we have had one of the founding board members who is taking over as the leader of Afrobarometer, or the chair of Afrobarometer from now going forward. She has been in this space for quite some time. She understands Afrobarometer's work, And of course, her deep commitment and passion to Afrobarometer is not in question. And we are truly grateful that we're getting this new leadership beginning from today. And so with those few remarks, I know lots of people will say a lot of good things about Jima. I'm probably the least person to say a lot about him, but just on a personal note, I know that Jima has been the stalwart when it comes to mentorship, and I'm a product of that. And his mentees are all over the globe in different leadership roles. But I personally want to share this experience of first meeting Jima back in 2004 when I left the University of Ghana and got invited to CDD for an interview for the role of a program officer at CDD Ghana one of the institutions he founded. Of course, after that interview, Jima looked at me and said, "I like you." And I was kind of taken aback because that was the first time I keep mentioning that somebody had mentioned to me that they liked me. And since then, our relationship has grown leaps and bounds. He's been a stalwart, a rock on which I have actually developed into who I am today. And so that just wanting to share my personal story and say that I'm really grateful to Jima for all that he's done for this institution, for the previous institutions, the Center for Democratic Development, where I started, and ultimately becoming the CEO of Afrobarometer is all, Jima's hands have been all over in my professional development, and I'm grateful for that. And so with those few remarks, just once again, welcome to this event. We are grateful that you're sharing your hour with us, and we hope that you take away good lessons from here, both in terms of the institutional architecture of Afrobarometer, but the role that Jima has played in shaping it up to date. So thank you all so much, and I'll turn it back to you, Josephine, to continue. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Joe. As Joe said, Prof. Jima is the torchbearer, and today we're here to honor the trailblazer. We will take tributes from friends, partners, and colleagues. But first, we'll start with our co-founders, Professor Mike Bratton and Professor Robert Mattis, with whom Prof. Jima started this institution that has grown to become the gold standard for surveys in Africa. So we'll start with Professor Mattis, and then we'll follow up with Professor Bratton.
Thank you. Just listening to Joe's remarks, it led me to think about, there's something called the Cincinnatus Club, which Cincinnatus was a founding ruler of the Roman Republic, I believe, and then who actually left power without being defeated militarily or through a coup. And there was a club that somebody thought up of over the years, and it's a very exclusive club. It includes people like George Washington and Nelson Mandela. It's a very, very small number of people who have actually founded republics and willingly left power without being defeated at the ballot box or through a coup. So I wonder if we should form also a Cincinnatus Club for NGO leaders. So that's a really remarkable achievement. Jima in various academic settings and policy settings in South Africa in the mid-1990s, and we both quickly discovered that both of our organizations in Ghana, CDD, and in in South Africa, IDASA, had very similar interests in measuring public opinion and its role in both countries' democratic transitions. And we also then met Mike Bratton at those settings and discovered our common academic interests in those things as well. And ever since then, I've had, since the mid-1990s, had the pleasure of regularly working with Jima, meeting each other several times a year and constantly online, and with Mike on a whole range of, and subsequently with our successors, about the Afrobarometer. But as important as that interaction has been, it tends to focus far too much on organizational matters, fundraising, designing projects, etc. So I'm very happy that Amina is taking over, taking on the mantle of leadership and taking up the cudgel and the baton. But I'm also very glad, actually, to see Jima stepping down. Because I'm sure he won't be walking into the African sunset, but he'll have a lot more time now to get away from organizational things. And I'm really looking forward to reinvigorating our writing collaborations of the past and to become co-authors. So here's to the future, Gino.
Thank you very much, Bob. Mike?
Thanks. I've already had a chance to sing Jima's praises at length at the last board meeting. So today I'm going to keep it very brief. The one word that I associate with Jima's leadership is wise. He is thoughtful in making complex decisions. He's impressively calm under pressure, and he's always scrupulously fair. These qualities remind me of an Afrobarometer questionnaire item that we tried in round 8. It asked, which of the following statements is closest to your view? Number 1, in order for our country to do well, we should listen to the wisdom of our elders. Or statement 2, in order for our country to do well, we should listen to fresh ideas from young people. The results were pretty clear. Across 34 countries, almost 6 in 10, 57%, voted for the wisdom of the elders. And perhaps remarkably, among youth, 18 to 35, over half, 54%, said the same thing. So, Jima, we intend to obey the voice of the people. Even though you are officially liberated from your onerous responsibilities, we still plan, on occasion, to seek your wise counsel. So, my friend, enjoy your retirement, but don't think you're entirely off the hook. Thank you.
Salute.
Thanks, Mike. Next, we'll take remarks from the chair of our International Advisory Council, Ambassador Johnny Carson.
Thank you very much. This is a very sad occasion for me because we are losing one of Africa's most talented and engaged supporters of democracy, good governance, free speech, and public participation in public affairs. Jima is, in fact, the gold star of public attitude opinion testing across the continent. And for me, it has been an absolute pleasure to work directly with Jima, to know his good deeds, and to see his skillful performance. I think that Robert Mattis, Michael Bratton, and Jima should be on a Mount Rushmore of democracy across Africa. I say this not as an academic, because I am not one, but as a diplomatic practitioner, someone who has spent many years in the U.S. diplomatic service. In that capacity, I drew heavily on the work of Phelis Boadi and his colleagues to help strengthen the demand signals for greater support for public and democratic participation in Africa. I can say very strongly that on numerous occasions in the building where I used to work in support of democratic causes, I could say with great confidence that the statistics that I had just mentioned were drawn from Afrobarometer's surveys, and that there was a clear demand for democracy and democratic strengthening and democratic institutions across the continent. His name and the organization were synonymous with the highest quality of public opinion surveying. And I've said over and over again, Afrobarometer is to Africa and those interested in Africa what the Pew studies have been for public surveying in the United States and beyond. Gemma, you have left an extraordinary legacy. I am proud to have been with you on occasions, to sit beside you on occasions, to listen to your thoughts and wisdom. Afrobarometer has set a standard, a global standard, for being able to share the views of people across the continent for good government, good democracy, and good human rights and civil liberties respect. A lot of that is a result of your commitment to Afrobarometer, but an even deeper commitment to Africa and to democracy. I am extraordinarily pleased to say that I have been a supporter and will continue to be a supporter and a strong voice for what you've all done, what you have achieved, and will continue to achieve in the future under Joseph's leadership and Amina's leadership as the new chair. I wish you well. Godspeed.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Carson. Next, we'll hear from our central management team. Our Director of Analysis and Capacity Building, Carolyn Logan, is, the longest serving member of the CMT and the SWA. And she's probably one of the people who's worked longest with JIMA. And so would like her to give her remarks on behalf of the CMT.
Thank you, Josephine, and I apologize, everybody. I can't get any videos to work anywhere today, so I don't know what's up with that, so I apologize for that, but the words are what counts, hopefully. I just, this is definitely a bittersweet moment. I've worked with JIMA since I joined Afrobarometer, which is, I think, about 24 years ago now. And I just want to say on behalf of myself and my CMT colleagues, I think it's just been such an honor to be part of building something that has such deep and lasting value, I think, and to be doing it with really just the best people all around us at the founders level, but all around, people who are smart, dedicated, caring. And I just completely believe that those values don't exist by accident. They come from the top, and I think they come from all three of the co-founders. I just really want to highlight today some of the ways in which I think they come from JIMA. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to reveal this yet, but my one word was giant. And I want to, because I think that JIMA has been for us a giant in several different ways. And I'll just say a few that I think are the most important. I think he's been a giant in terms of his intellect and his intellectual leadership. I'm still just floored sometimes by sort of the depth and breadth of his knowledge of what's going on in politics across the continent, and the thoughtful ways in which he analyzes them and doesn't sort of take the easy answers when we're thinking about the things that are happening on the continent. I think he's a giant in terms of decency. The environment of Afrobarometer, but so far beyond, has been so supportive and positive for so many people. I think I've seen that so much when I've traveled with JIMA, whether it's in Ghana or beyond, the people who are just always coming up to him and introducing themselves and reminding him where they knew him from. And, the evidence of sort of the his reach and impact, and of the esteem in which he's held by so many people in Ghana, but also just so far beyond. I think he's been a giant in terms of his ambition. He's never let go, and I think Mike referred to this: the fact that at this point he's still fighting to change Ghana, to change Africa, to change the world, improve people's lives, strengthen democracy. Staying engaged at the level that he has, I think, is just a real model for all of us. And a giant in terms of his integrity and the way that he's led the organization, that I just think, in every way, just emulates those values. And I'll just close by saying, I think that, one of the things to me about Jima is that he makes you want to be both a better analyst and a better human while changing the world. And I don't think those things always, or maybe even often, go together. And so I just really want to thank him for the example and the leadership that he's given us all these years. I also want to say to Amina that we are really excited for the next phase of this whole endeavor, and to work with you and learn from you, and keep this project building and going. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carolyn. So now we'll open up to staff. If there's anyone who wants to give their remarks, very brief remarks, just raise your hands and the team will give you permission to speak. While we wait for that, we'll move on to our core partners. And so we will call on the core partner executive directors to give their reflections. I think it's Dr. Asanti here, representing CDD, the core partner for West Africa and Francophone Africa and North Africa. Okay, otherwise we'll move on. Later, we'll play a video from Professor Karuti, who's the core partner director for East Africa. We see some hands up, so the team is going to permit you to speak. I see Eric's hand is up. So we'll start with Eric. You all know how passionate Prof. Jima is when it comes to mentoring young people. So Eric is going to give the remarks on behalf of all the Gen Zs at Afrobarometer.
Thank you very much, Joe, and good afternoon. Sorry, my video is not coming up. Yeah, so I first heard of Prof in 2018 as an undergrad student at UCC. One of Prof's friends was my undergrad supervisor in 2018. During the conversation, he made mention of Prof. And since then, I was always hoping to meet Prof, but I couldn't find the best opportunity to do that. So in 2022, I got the opportunity to be an intern in Afrobarometer. And I was so excited because I realized that finally I will get the opportunity to meet with Prof. So I come to AB, the HR takes me to Prof's office, and I was so excited. And fortunately, I think in June 2022, Prof's secretary went on I think a holiday, and I had to now go and replace her at the office. And that was like a dream come true, because this is somebody you've been hoping to meet, and finally you get to share the same office with the same person. And since then, I've been working with Prof as his personal assistant, moved on to an MEA role, but I still support Prof. And during my time with Prof, I still work with Prof. Prof is, one word I will use for Prof is, one, he is lively, and also let me add another, inspiring. Anytime you are with Prof, you get something that he says to you that inspires you. And just, I think yesterday or Wednesday, I was talking to him about leave, why he doesn't take leave. And he says, why should he? Because he has a way that he streamlines it. So he doesn't really see it as necessary that you take a whole long break as leave, because it's not always working. And that sort of, give me a new perspective about him. Somebody who always wants to get things done and is always working. So, Prof, it's been a privilege working with you, and you always inspire me so much. Thank you.
You too.
Thank you very much, Eric. So next, Boniface Dulani is our Director of Surveys.
Thank you, Josephine. There's a lot that's been said, and I can only echo, I think, what the previous speakers have said about Jima's, I think, intellectual contributions to Afrobarometer, to the global academic community, but also to me personally. And I've always been struck by his, timeless dedication to the cause of democracy in Africa and the world. And it's always been such a pleasure for me working with Jima. I've had the privilege really of working with him on several academic and scholarly outputs, and have benefited immensely, I think, from his guidance, his wisdom, and also I think he's assisting in a better framing in my arguments, and perhaps I think Jima will also know that I have a tendency to speak for too long. And I think Jima has always been there to guide me, I think, in keeping my presentations short, succinct, to the point, and sticking to time. So I'll not speak for too long, I promise you, Prof. But it's I think, outside the formal arena that I have worked with him for so long, from his time as CEO of AB to his time as a board chair. It's, I think, working the outside this formal environment that I have also enjoyed, I think, working with Jima quite a lot. For people who don't know Jima so well, he has an excellent choice of selecting what restaurants to go to. So every time you go out with Jima, you'd always know that if you're out there for a week, Jima would always know the best restaurants you can go wherever in the world you are in. And Jima is our go-to person. But more importantly, I think for me, it's the funny stories that Jima tells. I mean, when you hear Jima talk about the escapades of the Ghana national soccer team in Brazil during the World Cup, Jima telling so many stories about how Ghanaians have, consumed all the wildlife in Ghana, that there's nothing left at all in the bush. Jima just tells all these wonderful stories that it's always a pleasure, spending time with him, because you always know that Jima will always, give us his funny stories. For someone with such, high credentials and as an academic, it's always a pleasure to hear him tell all these funny stories. So for me, Jima, my word for him is actually funny. I think that's what I really have loved, and I will always cherish as I continue to work with him. So Jima, thank you so much for all those fantastic stories.
Thank you very much, Bonnie. Next, we'll move to Phelis Boadi, an officer.
Wow, thank you. I'm in quite a low data bandwidth space, so I'm not going to be able to sustain a call with video on. But I just wanted to say a huge thank you to Professor Jima for bringing me into the NGO world. It's a space that I never thought I would come to for various reasons. And it is a testament to his persistence that I actually joined. And the funny story I want to tell here today is that when I joined, I gave them 6 months. 6 months. And I said, I'm not going to stay here beyond 6 months. And I'm still here, So yeah, I owe everything that I have been able to do and done well with Jima. He would call you, he will keep you on your toes. His quest for excellence, he looks for expertise. So I've been thinking of a word to summarize that. And I haven't found anything but the word young. Yeah. I know you're old, Jima, but I thought the word young would describe you very well. You are so refreshing to be around, to work with. You are evergreen, all the time bringing new ideas, new solutions, new people, all the time having all the expertise. You are very persistent in your strength, and that shows how ever nourishing you are. I always see you as a very lively person, irrespective of where you are, in whatever context. You bring life to situations and to the organization. I want to also say you are untiring. I mean, you would go on and on and on. And your quest for excellence is something that I have picked up and will always work with. I appreciate you all. I appreciate all the founders and everybody. Bajima's impact on my life. You know, he says I'm paying for my sins in the tobacco world. And indeed, I think I have, with Jima's support, I have done so. Thank you very much. I'm sure we'll still keep in touch. Thank you. Over.
Thank you, Felix. Next, we hear from Margo Walsh, who is a member of our International Advisory Council.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me? All right. So dear Jima, Amina, Robert, Joseph, Johnny, Boniface, and you, those are the ones I can see on my screen, and I'm happy to see you and being able to say a few words to Jima. And all the praise I can sign and confirm, but I would like to add a few things, because you are also, Jima is also a kind person and a generous person and a loving person that can offer all of us his views on the world in a way that is absolutely unique. And we meet and see each other at the time where democracy is being undermined and attacked all over the world. More people now live in countries going backwards when it comes to democracy than making democratic progress. And it was so foresighted and courageous to start this whole project once upon a time, and more needed now than ever. So I think that you have left a legacy, because also you're a very intelligent person that has been able, together with Robert and all the people here that we see on the screen, been able to start something, build something that we now see as an instrument for keeping democracy alive in the future, that we cannot be without. But also as a person, to be so generous as you have been to me. You showed me around in in Ghana when I was there, and just take time. And you are rooted, like the few people. You are rooted in your culture and still a member of the world. And you are a person that can, I think, tell stories, as we've heard, but also with full integrity, always, in the way you have been working and led this organization. So you deserve all the praise that you've heard, and others have. I have not even I cannot even formulate some of my thoughts, because I'm a bit overwhelmed. But I wish you all the best, and we will make use of your knowledge and experience in the future as well. Be assured of that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Margo. We are still staying with the International Advisory Council, and we'll hear from Vera Song.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you hear me? Good. Thank you. No, I thought I should say something. I'm not good at these things, but to all of the group, no, thank you. You know, Robert, when you were mentioning the Cincinnatus Club, I was thinking, okay, how many people are in it right now? So I'll come back to you for you to go give us the number. But no, Jimar, I think everybody, it's all been said, but I wanted to say something as well. I think Ambassador Carson's put it really well. This work is revolutionary, is pioneering, you know, and in life, you only know how you should only start, right? It's like a kid, you deliver them, you never know what they become. But this has become an incredible, I think, cornerstone of Africa's data, Africa's analysis, us speaking about ourselves to ourselves, for ourselves, and using it. And it just is, it's such a pleasure to see that, you know, to see where it has come to and where it has come from. I think you need rest, but I don't think you need rest. So I think we still would like to see your face, your voice, and hear you in different meetings, because you still have you know, the power and the command of what we're talking about. We haven't won the fight yet. Unfortunately, I wish I could say goodbye, go rest, because we've won the fight. But I think, as we all agree, the fight is still ahead of us. And sometimes, like now, we feel like we almost went backwards. But actually, no. I think the reason we feel like we're almost going backwards is because of some of the work we have done to see how far we've come. And so we can actually assess, you know, some of the differences that are ahead of us, and some of the departures from agreed principles that the rest of the world is taking. And we can talk about them no longer in I feel like this or I don't feel like this, but with data. And I think that, you know, one of the most powerful things in the world is just data. We can say this is data. Data is not always fact, but data gives us a sense of where you know, we are going, and what more we need to do. So really, thank you for highlighting, I think, this important part of the construct of our development, our progress, and how we talk to others. Because really, it's again in the data that our conversations sometimes happen, right? And you've done it so well, so quietly, but really, really in the most professional manners. And I want to celebrate you for that. You show the light, not just in what you've done, but in how you've done it, more importantly. And the two go together. So once again, see you around, get a little bit of rest, not a lot, but I think with the rest of us will continue to work closely with Afrobarometer and to the new team that's coming in, Joseph and the rest, where we're still here, and we will continue to support this really incredible dream that today we're celebrating as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vera. Thank you all for the wonderful messages, and please keep them coming. You can share it in the chat, and we're happy to read them out. Or you can send us an email, because beyond this event, we also plan to share some of these very moving testimonials on our social media platforms. We have some colleagues who unfortunately couldn't join us, but they sent some videos, and so we're going to take a few minutes to stream those videos, and then we'll get back to the show.
Jima, I would like to begin by saying a big thank you for institutionalizing use of Afrobarometer data across the continent. Afrobarometer data is today a household name. Afrobarometer itself is a point of reference by many research institutions and academic institutions, as well as researchers. To this, we owe it to you and your team. A big thank you and wishing you the best in your next port of call. To our incoming chair, I think What we need to do now is to ensure that African governments also use Afrobarometer data in an open manner, the way many governments outside Africa use this data to inform their strategies, to inform their work in Africa. Using Afrobarometer data, African governments can make the best use of it and improve governance situation on the continent. I wish you the best as well. We owe it as a duty to support you. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.
Prof. Boadi, if compassionate, affable, and sage were a person, they would be you. Since I started working at Afrobarometer, I've seen you not as just my boss, but also as a mentor, a friend, and even at times a confidant. Every single day, I witness the dedication and love that you have, not just for the job that you do, but for every single person who works at Afrobarometer, which is truly something special. And so today, I want you to know that as you transition out of this role, your impact will always be deeply felt because you've left an indelible mark on each and every one of us. You've shown us that excellence can be paired with humility, and you always led with such a soft-spoken but firm calmness, which is so admirable. So thank you so much for your humor, for your patience, for your guidance, and most of all, for your unwavering support for the ideals that Afrobarometer stands for. Long live your legacy.
Bonjour à toute la team Afrobarometer. En ce jour solennel de passage de flambeau au nouveau président du conseil d'administration d'Afrobarometer, nous félicitons le professeur Koja Boadi pour sa persévérance, pour tout ce qu'il a fait pour ce réseau, le plus vaste et le plus grand au monde. Afrobarometer et ses partenaires nationaux dans plus d'une quarantaine de pays en Afrique produisent des données de qualité, fiables, crédibles et surtout accessibles à tous. Ces données permettent aux décideurs publics, aux institutions internationales, à la société civile, aux partenaires techniques et financiers de prendre des décisions pour l'amélioration des conditions de vie de nos populations. Afrobarometer, c'est donner une voix au peuple. Merci, professeur Boadi.
My dear Professor EGB, I just wanted to take a moment to express my deepest respect and admiration for you. Working under your leadership was truly an invaluable experience that shaped my professional growth in ways I will always appreciate. Your vision, integrity, and unwavering commitment to excellence set a standard I continue to aspire to. Even now, I often reflect on the lessons you taught me, the importance of strategic thinking, leading with empathy, and never compromising on principles. You didn't just manage a team, you inspired one. I salute you.
Dear Prof. Jima, it's an immense honor to share a few words as you step down from the chair of the Afrobarometer board. Your vision, leadership, dedication have not only built this network, but have made it a reference in the African public opinion research. You have done more than we could ever ask it for, and the impact will endure for generations. I also want to warmly congratulate Amina for the new appointment. Her integrity, experience, and deep understanding of the Afrobarometer mission will certainly make us think Afrobarometer is in excellent hands. Thank you again, Prof. Jima, and all my best wishes for Amina and for the future.
All right, thank you very much. We're going to go back to a few more messages. I think we have 3 more, and then we will move on. So I think Dr. Koja Asanti from CDD is ready to speak now.
Right. Good afternoon to everybody. Forgive me. I found a corner somewhere to just say congratulations on behalf of CDD, the board, and the management for your 5th retirement. Professor Jima. You've always been an inspiration to us, led the Sorry, I think I unmuted myself. So yes, I don't know if you heard me, but congratulations on behalf of the board and management, and thank you for the inspiration and your leadership over the years. Basically, you would be regarded as the Lionel Messi of mentorship because of all the wonderful people that you have inspired and nurtured, over the years. I don't know how many lunches that we have had and all of those mentees have had, but there's been a lot of food, a lot of eating during that period. If I have a word for you, you are brave, but also you also love good trouble, a real instigator that taught us all the best ways, to continue to make democracy resilient. I don't know, given the number of times that you have retired, I don't know if I would say that really this is freedom for you. The way I always see you, I can imagine in the era of AI and robotics that you will really become the bionic man. If you can keep your brain and put on some armor, you will take it because you are also adventurous. So I know that you are not going away anytime soon. And this is just a phase. And also to say, welcome, Amina, and congratulations. We want to affirm our commitment to Afrobarometer and continue to work to build democracy and sustain it in Africa. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Asante. So I'm hearing two things. Vera asked Jima to rest, but some of us who know him very well are really doubting that he'll take that advice. So we have a quick pulse check. We put a quiz down there. We want to know what you think. Do you think Jima is really going to rest, or you think there's still more in the tank? Let's hear what you think. So Peter, over to you.
Thanks so much. This is a very auspicious handover. Jima, in a friendship of decades, long preceding Afrobarometer, but including the entire arc of Afrobarometer, I've always enjoyed and benefited from your incisive perspective, your deep humanity, your rigorous scholarly attitude, and your very deliberate baritone, which is just absolutely unmistakable, and so welcome, whether it's in a professional forum or at dinner or in any other encounter. As for Afrobarometer, you and the founders have created such an essential institution, not only a continuous source of rigorous knowledge about public attitudes and behavior across the continent, but also an institution of commitment and development and capacity for developing empirically based social science across Africa. And it's really just an enormous contribution. Your leadership in Accra in the last many years, from fundraising to intellectual supervision and leadership to the development of the whole Afrobarometer enterprise, has just left such a huge legacy. And so, of course, you're stepping back, as people do, from this particular role. And knowing your relentless energy, which leaves me exhausted sometimes just talking to you about your itinerary, even if I'm not going with you, your relentless energy will mean that we continue to interact, we continue to collaborate, and I continue to benefit certainly from your company and your engagement, and of course the friendship will continue. Amina, we're so grateful that you're taking on this role. I think many people don't understand the depth, the breadth, the gravity of your own leadership in the business world and in related areas. And so your experience, your capabilities are going to, just hugely benefit Afrobarometer going forward. And we're very glad and grateful that the torch is being passed to such an able leader.
Thank you, Peter. Next, we hear from Anyway Chimgoete, who is the Deputy Director of Surveys. Okay, it looks like she's gone offline. So we asked the staff and partners of Afrobarometer to describe Jima in one word. And in just 2 days, we gathered about 47 words. So let's see what they had to say about Jima. Right. And I'm sure most of you agree with the words that you saw on the screen. It's now time to hear from the man himself, the visionary leader who has impacted our lives in so many ways. I have the deep honor to invite Professor Ijima Boadi, our outgoing board chair, to share his reflections.
Oh, my. Where do I start? Perhaps start by thanking all of you who have spoken so kindly and so glowingly and so positively about me and about the work we've all been doing together and the many memorable moments we have shared. I just want to remind you that one of my daughters who is tuning in online says that you have all missed one key description of me, and that is rascal. Yeah. So just to say that you don't know me too well. But I thank you all the same. In my countrymen and women who are in this audience will know that we have a tradition here in Ghana whereby whenever a new party takes over the presidency after elections, the boards of all state-owned enterprises are removed and replaced with the new party in power's faithful faithfuls and foot soldiers. In fact, this is currently ongoing. As it turns out, the Afrobarometer, as you all know, is not a state-owned enterprise. But I decided to do this voluntarily before the state, the Ghanaian state, targets Afrobarometer for expropriation. Of course, the state is typically interested in an entity when it is successful or lucrative or it's a source of funding to be looted and so on. So it is a testament to what we have built here if the state wanted to make such an attempt. And built we have. Together with my co-founders, together with our managers, our team of interviewers, our data analysts, and all the admin and support staff, we have built something. And we built it, and of course, they came. So a wide range of stakeholders are routinely using Afrobarometer data in policy planning, in program development and implementation, and in monitoring and evaluation because they trust us, they trust the data. People quote the Afrobarometer because they trust the Afrobarometer. Our data has been used to inform presidents and development agencies about citizens' policy priorities and expectations. Afrobarometer data, as we all know, are used in the generation of several global indices, such as the Mo Ibrahim Index of African Governance, Transparency International's Global Corruption Barometer, and the World Bank's World Governance Indicators. The data are also used for country risk analysis and by credit rating agencies and forecasting agencies, including the Economist Intelligence Unit. And at the regional and continental levels, users include the African Union, the African Development Bank, and the UN Economic Commission for Africa, among others. For me personally, it has been a deeply, deeply gratifying experience professionally, socially, emotionally, maybe spiritually, to have been part of the Afrobarometer journey from its founding, growth, and consolidation into this first-rate global public attitude survey brand that it has become today. I am deeply grateful for the opportunity to have been part of his founding and parts of his stewardship over the years. I am extremely proud of the many, many milestones the network has achieved during the period I have had the privilege and honor of serving as chair of its governing board. Among our many achievements, the Afrobarometer can now boast of a strong and diverse committed governing board, an equally diverse and committed International Advisory Council with stellar high-profile membership. We also boast of a high-performing and dynamic chief executive and his central management team. We also have a well-structured network institutional architecture of core partners, national partners, special units, and an able secretariat. The expanded reach of Afrobarometer surveys means that we are now touching 45 African countries, including the Comoros, Guinea-Bissau, and Chad. And with this, Afrobarometer data now represents the views of more than 75% of the African population. We also boast of the growing capacity we have in phone surveys among several national partners. We also have a much vastly expanded and publications profile, including an ability to respond rapidly to the demand for analysis and briefs on topical issues. We have a well-functioning communications team, which has significantly enhanced the Afrobarometer's visibility and impact. And a solid capacity building program with innovations in mentorship and outreach to African universities. And last but not the least, sound financial standing, notwithstanding the tsunami that has been unleashed by the US government's funding cuts. Let me turn to make some tributes, because it's really important for me to put it on record that the achievements I have listed above in building the institution and executing our mandate have been made possible only through the unstinting cooperation and sustained support of board members. And of course, it's also been made possible by the collaborative and consultative relationship that I have enjoyed with our stellar chief executive and his variable central management team. Just to take us back in a little bit of Ghanaian history, at the height of military rule under J.J. Rawlings, Flight Lieutenant J.J. Rawlings, a reporter is said to have asked him, quote, "When are you going to hand over power?" His response, "Hand over to whom?" Of course, other autocrats have expressed similar lamentations. Well, I'm grateful that I neither have the thirst for endless power nor lack of a worthy successor, and especially the latter. Successor, yes, but she has been a collaborator since 2019 as a member of the board. And I'm glad and grateful that the board saw the stellar qualities that I've experienced with her for the last 6 years. She established her indispensability to the effective functioning of the governing board right from the beginning of her tenure, especially in the areas of board corporate governance and institutional human resource development. She has graciously accepted multiple requests to represent Afrobarometer on fundraising and partnership strengthening missions. She has indeed been a pleasure to work with, and it's been an honor to have had the opportunity to work with her. Perhaps I will end my remarks here and come back to do my final singing. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. So it's time now for the official handing over. If this had been an in-person event, we would have had Prof. Jima handing over the baton physically to the successor. But since it's a virtual event, we are going to send the baton virtually from Ghana to, guess where? Can you hear? All right. So, Prof. Jima, we're going to have you share your final words as you formally hand over the mantle of leadership to Amina.
Right. So I'm also virtually handing over the mantle of leadership, and I'm delighted to hand over the Afrobarometer board leadership to someone with the right blend of expertise, passion for our mission, and a breadth of strategic connections, including strong ties to relevant networks and individuals, including high net worth Africans. Lawyer Amina Oyagbola, I trust the Afrobarometer board, management team, core partners, and national partners to give you the same high level of support I was privileged enough to enjoy throughout my tenure. As I indicated earlier, when the president of Ghana changes heads and boards of state enterprises upon assumption of office, it is not necessarily because the new corporate governance team is more able. It is, many of us believe, in furtherance of the Kenyan political philosophy that says, quote, "It's our time to eat." Unfortunately, at the Afrobarometer, as you well know, it's your turn to work because there is a lot of work, as you know. Fortunately, however, in you, we have more than what it takes to move the Afrobarometer to the next level of excellence. And so with these few words, all I want to say is to wish you great, great success in your tenure as chair of the governing board of this great network, Afrobarometer. Amina, over to you from now on. But rest assured that whenever you call me, if you need my help, my assistance, my advice, anything, I am there for you so long as I still have my wits on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. And now it's with great excitement that I invite our new board chair to address the Afrobarometer family and share her vision for the road ahead. But before she comes in, just a little bit about Amina. Amina Oyagbola is an independent director and business management consultant with over 35 years of experience in legal practice and business management in corporate Nigeria. Her career spans human resource strategy and transformation, legal consulting, women's empowerment, banking and finance, oil and gas, and telecommunications. She's also really, really passionate about women's empowerment, and she's a founder and chairperson of WISCA, which is Women in Successful Careers. It's a nonprofit for gender empowerment and strategic mentoring and leadership initiative for professional career women. Over to you, Amina.
Wow. Thank you very much, Josephine. Thank you so much, Professor Jima, for those very gracious, very kind words, typical of how you have been described. This is indeed an auspicious occasion and a very emotional one for me, and I think for many of us on the platform today. Professor Jima Boadi, other distinguished co-founders, Mike Bratton and Robert Mattis, my fellow Afrobarometer board members, members of the Distinguished and Eminent International Advisory Council, Ambassador Carson, Johnny Carson, Chair of the International Advisory Council, our very, very able and exemplary CEO, Joseph Asunka, members of the central management team, our core partners and staff, and very, very able staff of Afrobarometer. Good afternoon. What an awesome afternoon it is today. It is indeed with immense humility and gratitude that I accept the role of chair of Afrobarometer's board of directors. I am deeply honored by the board's vote of confidence, and I thank you all sincerely for entrusting me with this huge responsibility. To step into this role is to step into the shoes of giants. And since joining the Afrobarometer board in 2019, under Professor Jima's leadership, he will always be my chair. I've had the privilege of witnessing the extraordinary vision, values, and verve that have propelled this great institution to continental and global prominence. Afrobarometer is more than a research network. To me, it is a movement powered by a singular conviction that the voices of African citizens matter, that they must be heard, they must be respected, and they must be acted upon. Today, the network, as has been described by Professor Jima, is very well positioned to advance its mission to make citizens' voice a key pillar of African policy and decision-making. I am deeply honored to help lead this charge. Let me begin by lending my own voice also to all the well-deserved praises and commendations, and by paying the very highest tribute to our outgoing board chair, Professor Phelis Boadi, a co-founder, a scholar, a mentor, and above all, for me, a moral compass for this great institution. Professor Jima, your extraordinary service, your visionary leadership, and intellectual integrity have defined Afrobarometer's ethos. You leave behind, as has been said by many of the speakers before me, a legacy of substance. From laying the intellectual foundations of citizen-driven governance to transforming a loose research network with your co-founders into a well-governed and respected Pan-African organization. Thanks to your leadership and with the support of a very capable board, eminent International Advisory Council, committed CEO, and able central management team, and talented staff and partners, 2024 marked several milestones, some of which Professor Jima has already touched on. But permit me to just mention a few. Our 25th anniversary, a testament to our resilience and relevance, and the establishment of our Founders' Day. The release of African Insights 2024, a flagship report reaffirming our status as the go-to source for public opinion in Africa. The launch of the Africa Judicial Independence Fund, strengthening democratic accountability on the continent. And the rollout of innovative surveys and outreach that continue to amplify citizen voice across nearly 40 African countries and still counting. Professor Jima, on behalf of myself, and I dare say on behalf of all of us here, thank you. I am honored to continue the journey you and other co-founders, Professor Mike Bratton and Robert Mattis, began. Afrobarometer's founding idea is both timeless and very important, that all Africans, regardless of gender, background, education, or geography, deserve to be heard. That governance and sustainable development in Africa must be rooted in evidence and responsive to the people. That democracy is not abstract. It is lived and expressed daily by citizens in their choices, in their critiques, and in their aspirations. This mission has never been more relevant than now. Throughout my career, I have been passionate about leadership, transformation, good governance, gender empowerment, and creating opportunities, especially for underrepresented voices. Afrobarometer's vision strongly aligns with my belief in evidence-based decision-making and inclusive development. I have seen firsthand how access to the right data and dialogue can drive meaningful change. Whether shaping policy, mentoring future leaders, or advocating for inclusion, I have always believed that impact begins with listening, and listening begins with trust. As chair, I am committed to expanding Afrobarometer's reach and deepening its impact and ensuring that our data continues to shape policies that truly reflect the priorities of African citizens. This includes continuing to work with the board to strengthen governance structures and practices, focusing on strategic clarity, board development, stakeholder relations, and our commitment to equity, diversity, and inclusion. It includes enhancing stakeholder engagements to sustain and cultivate new relationships with African philanthropists and donor community to strengthen our fundraising. It includes accelerating innovation, especially in how we harness technology to collect, analyze, and disseminate our data. And it also includes building capacity, continuing to invest in the next generation of African researchers and analysts. And as has been said here, ensuring that our data continues to be used by governments in Africa, by global institutions, and by governments globally. I look forward to leading the network in actively monitoring social, economic, and political developments to keep Afrobarometer agile and future-ready. In a world reshaped by digital disruption, climate urgency, economic uncertainty, and rising citizen expectations, our work at Afrobarometer must continue to anticipate trends, provoke dialogue, and guide evidence-based action. None of this can be achieved alone. So, to our dedicated board and the International Advisory Council, to our committed CEO and able central management team, to our national and core partners, supporting units, to our fantastic staff and our funders, I say a very big thank you. You are all the lifeblood of Afrobarometer. Your expertise, your commitment, and belief in our mission have sustained this institution and amplified its credibility across the globe. I look forward, by God's grace, to working closely with all of you, not as a new face or new kid on the block, but as a long-standing believer in Afrobarometer's purpose and promise. Let us continue to work together. Let us continue to build together boldly, inclusively, and purposefully. Let us continue to ensure that the legacy that has been built by Professor Koja Boadi and his co-founders and all the stakeholders of Afrobarometer, that we ensure that that legacy continues for the benefit of Africa and the world. Thank you very much. God bless.
Thank you very much, Amina. I see you receiving some applause. But have you, for those of you who haven't noticed, Afrobarometer's commitment to women empowerment runs through every aspect of our work. So from the 50-50 gender alternation on the field, so that the voices of women are also equally represented, to the special modules we have on gender-related issues, to the inclusive practices and policies that are aimed at ensuring that the women staff and partners have a conducive environment to thrive in their work, even with capacity building and mentorship. And today I'm really proud that we have our first woman board chair. Our board now has 7 women and 4 men. And I think this truly reflects the gender balance that we've always been championing. So I think huge congratulations to all of us at Afrobarometer. Thank you very much to the board. I think from now we will open up for a few more congratulatory messages. Anyway, Chingwete is ready to speak now. And after that, we'll hear from Kalise, who is a national investigator for Benin.
Thank you so much, colleagues. Thank you, Josephine. Yeah, I wanted to speak as well, just to appreciate Prof. Jima. So there was something with the mic. So yeah, Prof. Jima, I'll also say to you, thank you so much for your unwavering support and your commitment to Africa's development. You have been really a great advisor, so really appreciate you. Yeah, I would say we'll continue to, sit on your table and hear and be advised even going forward. But just maybe moving forward to Amina, and super excited to have you, Amina, on board. And I want to say congratulations on a new appointment as the new chair, chair of the Afrobarometer board. I think Josephine has already explained that having a woman chairing this board is really something that makes us feel, yeah, so we're super excited to have you. Also, we'll be really sitting on your leadership and being driven by your leadership. Let me also say, as an individual, will really be able to, offering myself to, and committed to working with you, collaborate with you, and yeah, being led by you. So a huge welcome and also congratulations to you, Amina. We're super excited to have you on board. Thank you.
Thank you anyway. We hear from Kaliste.
Ok. Merci beaucoup. Et je suis ému en tant que sociologue d'abord, puisque l'événement de ce soir, c'est un événement inédit dans la transformation sociale des espaces qui permettent aux hommes et aux femmes de travailler. J'ai fait 2 constats. Le premier constat, le professeur Jima, que depuis avril à ce jour, j'ai essayé de le rencontrer plus d'une fois. Il fait une transmission aussi légitime, solennelle, d'une part, d'un point de vue géographique. Le leadership de la transition se passe de Accra à Kenya. Première leçon à tirer dans ce que j'appelle l'attitude d'altruisme, de détachement de soi. Premier élément. Deuxième élément, la détransition échoua à une personne de sexe féminin. Ça fait il y a 2 choses sur lesquelles je me permets en tant que sociologue de dire que le professeur Jima a une vision. Premier élément. Deuxième élément, j'ai entendu autour de lui ceux pour qui il a été des échelles, qui sont aussi nombreux à l'exprimer dans des mots qui sont empreints d'une chaleur humaine. Et troisième axe, c'est le caractère scientifique de sa personne, dans un silence inouï qui vous inspire. Et ça, depuis lundi, de là où je suis, il n'est pas encore venu. Rob est là et il nous met encore sur un nouveau sujet de réflexion Donc, la question de la démocratie reste et demeure une préoccupation du trio des fondateurs. Parce que les outils sur lesquels je suis impliqué dans ce travail m'amènent beaucoup plus encore à réfléchir, à encore mieux observer les mobiles de l'érosion de la démocratie et de ce que cela comporte. Quand je sors de cet aspect, la nouvelle responsabilité qui incombe à Madame Amina, avec ce qu'elle vient de dire, de faire sortir les voix les moins représentées, c'est encore un engagement qu'elle vient de prendre. Et ça, en tant que sociologue, je salue dans la mesure où mon souhait reste et demeure la transformation sociale du monde. Maintenant, quant à nous, universitaires, autour du professeur Djima et Robert et tout le reste, c'est de voir comment faire que ces données puissent impacter au-delà des politiques publiques, impacter le monde scientifique, nos étudiants et autres universités où nous allons promouvoir la qualité de ces données et de leur usage à diverses fins. Je pense que je vis un moment inédit, un moment très important et pris de chaleur. Professeur Djima, je sais que je vais vous voir tout à l'heure dans la salle, vous allez venir avant que je ne prenne le départ demain, tout comme toute l'équipe. Une fois encore, moi, personnellement, je vous dis merci. Merci pour tout ce que vous avez fait pour amener aujourd'hui le champ de la couverture spatiale de l'enquête Afrobarometer sur 45 pays pour un demi-siècle, pour ne pas dire un quart de siècle, excusez-moi du peu, c'est l'émotion. Vraiment, je pense que nous avons encore beaucoup à faire dans l'exploitation des données et de la rigueur avec laquelle nous allons travailler. Mais je viens encore sur un élément. Tous ces jeunes autour de vous, comment avez-vous pu les transformer? Je vois la relève à divers niveaux. La relève dans le monde scientifique, la relève dans le monde administratif. Et j'ai écouté les audios, mais ce qui reste que je voudrais vous demander, professeur, j'attends de vous ce que j'appelle la trajectoire écrite. Cette trajectoire écrite qui va être traduite dans plusieurs langues pour permettre à d'autres d'être motivés, pour permettre à d'autres de faire de vous une école de la vie sociale. Parce que dans cette trajectoire, je vois ce que j'appelle le regard. Comment vous avez pu, braquer ces regards dont je ne dirai pas plus, mais dès que j'aurai l'opportunité de vous voir, je vous en parlerai, sauf que je suis pauvre pour le moment en anglais. Je veux un bon traducteur pour dire ça là. C'est ce que j'attends de vous, professeur. Je vous demande ça, qu'il y ait une trajectoire, une biographie de votre vie dans tous ces aspects, d'accord, les différentes facettes de votre personnalité, pour que nous puissions davantage gagner de vous, chers professeurs, et tous les acteurs qui ont travaillé avec vous, ceux qui sont vos élèves, ceux qui sont vos relèves. Je pense que nous allons nous inscrire dans vos pas pour mieux faire tant que l'opportunité nous est donnée. Je tiens encore une fois à dire merci et au nom de REG, je vous remercie beaucoup. Bonne soirée et je suis là, je vous attends, professeur, avant de partir.
Merci, Monsieur Kaliste. We see one more hand up. It says Caleb Egan. We don't think it's Caleb, but please go ahead and speak. I think we're probably having network issues. So we'll move on and invite our CEO, Joseph Asunka, to give us a closer remarks.
All right. Thank you so much, Josephine, for anchoring this. It's been great. And thank you to everyone who've joined. I think Jimmy's word at the end by her daughter probably describes him more than all that we've said. I think saying that Jimmy is radical is probably the best that you can describe him. And from all the remarks that have been said here, in addition to the intellectual heft that Jimmy brings to Afrobarometer, his demeanor, the fun that we have around him whenever we meet, when we're in business, it is business, and when we're having fun, it's real fun. And I think Bonnie has captured that quite succinctly. And I do totally agree that the radicality of Jima, both in the intellectual space, but also in the social spaces, have been really, really remarkable. Sometimes he makes a joke and you can't imagine that he would know those kinds of things, including jokes from the Gen Z period. So no wonder people say he's young at heart, because he straddles both the old and the young in a seamless way. And so really grateful to you, Jima, for all of that. You bring so much life to Afrobarometer, so much encouragement both to the younger generation, but also to everybody else in that whole spectrum. So really, thank you. And to Amina, I know we have been with you for so long. It's really been a pleasure to have gotten to know and work with you. It's been such an inspiration to get to know you, to hear your thoughts and the contribution that you brought to Afrobarometer. And I know with you, we are going to continue to build even stronger as we go into the future. As you've outlined your vision, I think it aligns very strongly with their central management team, and we hope that I know that we would work closely with you, seeking your advice, but also supporting you in any way that we can to ensure that you succeed in this new role. So thank you so much for taking it up. I know the International Advisory Council members are here. Really, thank you, Ambassador Carson. You have really been a committed, staunch supporter of Afrobarometer in every space that we've engaged with you. It's really just been a remarkable experience to have gone through with you and the entire International Advisory Council. So thank you so much for your support. As you know, just knowing that you people are behind us gives us the encouragement to continue to pursue this work. So we're really grateful for that. And of course, finally, to staff members and the central management team, I just want to say a big thank you to you as well for the support you've given to all of us in ways that has allowed the board, the management, and all our staff, working across our national partners to deliver on Afrobarometer's objectives. So that's really, we're very grateful for that and for your commitment. And finally, of course, to Bob and Jima and Mike, I think this wouldn't have been but without you people incubating this idea and bringing it to life. And so we continue to be grateful to you. We want to make sure that Afrobarometer continues to grow in leaps and bounds beyond even your initial wildest imagination. So we know that you continue to support us in the background, and we'll continue to call on you from time to time to get that support. And so with that, just to say a big thank you to all of you who have joined us online. Thank you so much for making the time to join us. We hope that one day we'll meet in person to exchange pleasantries. But for now, I want to say a big thank you to Jima and Amina, and to say a goodbye to everybody who has joined us. Thank you so much, and let's continue the conversation online, as Josephine mentioned.
Thank you,
And
Joe.
I think
So as Joe said, let's continue the conversation online. Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Blue Skies. It's Afrobarometer. In the next couple of weeks, we are going to continue celebrating Prof. Jima and his legacy, and we're going to share more information also about Amina and her vision. In the chat session, we've just posted 2 press releases, one in English and one in French, about the announcement. Please help us share that widely as well. So thank you. Have a great weekend. Merci et bon week-end à tous.
Merci. Au revoir.
Merci.
Thank you.
Au revoir.
Bye.
Thank you.
Au revoir. Bye, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Josephine. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Yeah, wonderful program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.